What we're going to be going over today is what you measure or what you track is what you improve. What's going on, guys? My name is Nick Friel, founder of Media Simplified. We are a mortgage marketing agency that helps mortgage brokers all over the country scale their business using online lead generation, automation, systems and processes, and more. And my goal with this channel is to help mortgage professionals like you close more deals implementing these tactics. So what we're going to be going over today is what you measure or what you track is what you improve. So I think one of the biggest reasons that a lot of mortgage professionals struggle to see success using, online lead generation, marketing as a whole, is that they go in kind of just winging it without really any plan, without knowing what to expect, what the results should be, what their closing rates should be, all of those things. And that's perfectly fine when you're starting to not know these numbers. But very quickly, you should get the feedback needed to start tracking, measuring, and ultimately forecasting what needs to be done to help you get to your goals. So this video is to help you shortcut that process and give you some real life tactics, some things that we do for our clients to help them implement this system to make sure they can close deals effectively and consistently month in and month out. So we're going to go through 3 of what I think the kind of big steps are, starting with the obvious one, step 1, which is having lead flow. So a lot of mortgage professionals, they have the excuse of leads don't work for me. And, I'm heavily referral based and all of that, which is a great thing to have, to be having, lots of referrals and to have a big network. It's phenomenal. It's not something that you're going to be able to replace. Now, with that being said, it's also limited because there's not necessarily a trigger you can pull. So when I talk about lead flow here, I'm not talking about your referrals because you can't put in more money to get more referrals out. That's going to be something that happens kind of organically. Whereas once you figure out a lead source and say you start with $1,000 and you get a couple of closes, then we know that if we put in $2,000, that we should get more closes. So it has a lever that we can actually pull, and the more money we put in, the more output we should get out. So that's fundamental. So if you're a mortgage professional that's fully reliant on referrals, your very first step is to get some sort of lead source in place that gives you this lever where if I put in more, I can get out more. Now, a couple of recommendations for someone who's just starting, you want to kind of shortcut, you don't want to go through all the pain and suffering of running your own leads or doing things like that. I would highly recommend you check out companies like MRC, Free Rate Update, Lead Point, who's a partner with us, and they're places where you can go get high quality leads. You can purchase them directly. Usually you get an agent who can help you set it up, and that's going to give you at least a quality lead source that is closing for other people and will kind of help you shortcut, having to produce campaigns or videos or things like that on your own. So that would be my tip here, is getting a lead source and starting easy with something like Lead Point, Free Rate Update, MRC, one of these lead providers to start. All right, now step 2. So now you have good leads flowing in. Say you're getting, 30, 50, 100 leads per month. It's going to be a lot to kind of keep on top of. So you need to make sure you have all of your leads going into one centralized place. Ideally, all of your referrals and everything going into that one place as well, because this is where we're going to track all of our business growth, and it's going to allow us to measure things as we go. So on top of that, not only just having all of your leads in one place, but I'm going to give you a little pro tip here. It's very important that you have a pipeline that tracks from lead. So when they come in and they fill out that form, all the way to close. So, a lot of people will track lead to appointment or lead to application, but it's really important that you track from lead to appointment to application to doc submitted to pre-approval, to clear to close, and you have a pipeline stage for each of these. Now, I'm going to tell you what we do with our clients, something I recommend you do as well. So you're going to have 2 pipelines. First pipeline is going to be pre-application. So this is everyone who is still in that kind of lead stage that hasn't become necessarily a customer of ours yet or a client. So this first pipeline is going to track from lead to appointment, appointment to application, and obviously you'll have stages in between, appointment no-show, follow back up, not ready yet, things like that. But this first pipeline is supposed to track from lead to appointment, and to that point where they actually submit your online application or they submit an application in person and it goes into your LOS system. So that's kind of the line in the sand where that first pipeline ends. Because what happens is once they submit that application, a lot of times they're taken to kind of a different, place to communicate. Now they're communicating with you from the LOS system, and that's doing a lot of follow-up. So having one pipeline that's fully dedicated to getting people to submit that app, and then we're going to have a second pipeline that tracks where they're at in the application to close process. So that second pipeline is fully dedicated to people who have already taken that step of completing their app. They're no longer a customer that, we're marketing and trying to get a hold of. It's now an actual customer that's working with us, that's, in our business sphere. And we move them to the application pipeline, where then we're tracking from application to doc submitted to pre-approval and all the steps in between, so that we know how long it's taking, not to just get from lead to app, but also from application to close. This will also tell us which stages along the way people are getting caught up in, and allows us to diagnose even further later on. All right, so once we have good lead flow coming in and we have all of our leads going into one place, and we have a pipeline laid out where they're going from lead to app to close, it's all organized. We're letting that run for a few weeks to get, some good data in. This is where we're going to go ahead and start figuring out what our numbers are. So the beautiful part about doing number 2, where we have everything in one centralized place and we have it all organized ahead of time, is all you have to do is let the system run. And a lot of the numbers that you need are going to be just spit out for you because of the nature of using the system. You can easily look these things up. So first thing we would do is look at our, cost per lead and how many leads we got. So we're going to say we're spending $1,000 a month, and we're going to say we got, 100 leads. So if we're paying about $10 per lead, we got 100 leads with our $1,000, and that gives us our cost per lead. Now we want to know what our cost per appointment is. So we're going to say out of this, 100 leads, we got 30 appointments. So for $1,000 of spend, we got 100 leads. Of that, converted 30 to appointments. So we paid around $33 per appointment for this month. So once we know our cost per appointment, then we're going to figure out our cost per application. So we're going to say out of these 30 appointments, we're going to say we got 30% or 33% to actually submit applications. So we have 10 applications, and what that means is out of our $1,000, we paid about $100 per application. So now we know our cost per lead, our cost per appointment, our cost per application. What we can do from here is actually figure out what our cost per close is. So say from these 10 applications, you have 2 valid that closed. We're going to go conservative here. So 2 closed. That means that you paid roughly $500 per close. So if you made a return of $5,000 on that deal, you made a 10-to-1 return on your ad spend. So that means ideally, if we spend $10,000 in the month and we can keep that same cost per close, we're looking at $100,000 in commissions for that month. Now, I know I'm simplifying things here, but I'm also doing that for a reason, because once you can figure out how much your cost per close is, and you know what your goals are, and you know what amount of deals you want to get to per month, you can literally calculate how much it will take to get you there and start just spending that, so you can actually start moving towards your goals. And having these numbers will serve you month in and month out, and the more you track them, the more clearly everything's tracked, the more clear it will be, what you need to do to continue scaling to your goals. What this also does is gives us a full look at our client life cycle, so we can see from, like I said, from lead to appointment to application to escrow to close. And with that, having these numbers will allow us to diagnose the weak points of the system. So maybe we take a look and we see that our lead to appointment rate should be a lot higher. It should be, 50%. So it might be that we need to, change the follow-up or call the leads quicker. We might see that our appointment to application rate is low, and we need to start taking apps over the phone and increase that application rate. We might see that our, application completed rate is really low, where it might be that we need to clean up our application and make it a little bit more user-friendly. So having these three things and getting that full picture of where you're at will then allow you to take a look at the system as a whole and truly diagnose what the weak points are of the system. And once we know what those weak points are, we hypothesize what we can do to improve those things, all things that we can test out and see that if we implement these things, does it fix that problem? Does it increase those rates? And if so, we keep it in place. If not, we continue testing until we find the resolutions. But that's the best advice I could give, is that once you have these three things in place, use that to diagnose your weak points of your client lifecycle, and that will give you your next business moves and what you need to be focused on to grow and get to the goals that you want to get to as a mortgage professional. So it is time to stop talking about those goals. It's time to start acting on them. Once again, my name is Nick Friel, founder of Media Simplified. This is a no-nonsense channel made for mortgage professionals to help them scale. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Every little bit of support helps. If you disagree or agree with me, love to hear your feedback in the comments. Either way, we hope to see you on the next one. My name is Nick Friel, founder of Media Simplified. We'll see you soon.